Have you ever looked at a franchise icon, a player who defines the grit of your city, and realized that the very next time you see him, he might be the enemy? That is the terrifying reality we are waking up to this morning. Welcome back to the channel, everyone, where we dig deeper than the headlines to give you the real story behind the scoreboard. If you bleed Philadelphia red, you need to brace yourselves because the clock is ticking and the silence coming from the front office is starting to scream. We are less than a month away from pitchers and catchers reporting to Clearwater, and J.T. Realmuto, the best catcher in baseball for nearly a decade, is sitting at home without a contract. But today, we aren't just asking if he is coming back. We are looking at the mechanics of why he likely isn't and the massive domino effect that is about to topple over this roster. The Bo Bichette factor lets cut through the noise and look at the strategy. Why hasn't Dave Dombrowski, a man known for aggressive moves, written a check yet? The answer lies in a different position entirely. The reports are intensifying that the Phillies have pivoted their entire offseason focus toward shortstop Bo Bichette. This isn't just a rumor anymore, it's a strategic shift. If the front office commits the necessary capital to bring Bichette to Citizens Bank Park, the math simply does not work to bring Realmuto back at his asking price. We are talking about salary cap allocation and long-term flexibility. Signing Bichette signifies a desire to inject youth and offensive upside into the infield, effectively closing the door on the Realmuto era. Historical context and emotional weight to understand how heavy this moment is, we have to look back. J.T. Realmuto has been in Philadelphia for 7 years. In baseball terms, that is a lifetime. He wasn't just a catcher, he was the field general for a pitching staff that brought this city to the brink of a title. We are talking about a guy whose leadership in the clubhouse is unquantifiable. When you remove a pillar like that, you aren't just changing a lineup card, you are altering the DNA of the locker room. Think back to when the Phillies moved on from icons like Jimmy Rollins or Chase Utley. It marked a definitive before and after point in franchise history. We are standing on that precipice right now. The fan base is currently split down the middle. One half is clinging to the nostalgia and the defense, screaming that you pay the man for what he's done. The other half is looking at the spreadsheet, realizing that loyalty doesn't win championships in 2026. This creates a tension that is palpable, and as the days tick by without a signature, the anxiety is turning into acceptance. The Realmuto we knew is likely gone. The nightmare fuel. Tear now. We have to address the elephant in the room. If JT leaves, where does he land? This is where things get nauseating for the Philly faithful. The latest reports have categorized his potential destinations, and there is a specific tier labeled teams that would hurt. Let's be real about what that means. We aren't just talking about him playing somewhere else. We are talking about him weaponizing his knowledge of the Phillies pitching staff against us. Imagine this scenario. It's a humid July night at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies are clinging to a one-run lead, and walking up to the plate, wearing a New York Mets jersey, is J.T. Realmuto. Or worse, picture him in an Atlanta Braves uniform, throwing out Bryson Stott trying to steal second base. That is a level of sports betrayal that sits in your gut like a stone. These are direct NL East rivals. Seeing him help the Mets or Braves chase a division title that the Phillies want would be the ultimate insult. The Astros trauma, but there is one option that might arguably be worse than a division rival, the Houston Astros. We all remember the heartbreak of the 2022 World Series. The wounds are still fresh. If Realmuto were to sign with Houston, joining the team that denied this core a ring, it would feel like a double cross of the highest order. It's not just about the game, it's about the narrative. It would signal that he believes his best chance to win is with the villains of the Phillies' recent history. From a strategic standpoint, Realmuto fits the Astros perfectly. They need stability behind the dish. But from a fan's perspective, that is an absolute nightmare scenario that would turn cheers into boos faster than you can blink. Though we can live with it, fortunately, there is a silver lining. The market is shifting, and some of those nightmare teams seem set at the catcher position. This leaves us with the "it hurts, but we'll get over it" squad. We are looking at teams like the Boston Red Sox, the San Diego Padres, or a reunion with the Miami Marlins. If JT goes to Boston, he's in the American League. We see him maybe once a year. He becomes a distant memory, a legend we check in on, like an ex-partner you're on good terms with. The Padres are contenders, sure, but they are on the West Coast. There is no deep-seated blood feud there. If he goes to San Diego, we can root for his success without it directly sabotaging the Phillies' playoff seeding. This distinction is crucial. Losing the player is painful, but where he goes dictates the level of emotional damage. The next few weeks are going to be a game of Russian roulette with his destination, and every Phillies fan is holding their breath, hoping the bullet doesn't land in the NL East. The harsh reality of decline, we have to take the emotion out of it for a second and look at the cold, hard data. Why is the market moving slowly for a name as big as Realmuto? Because in professional sports, Father Time remains undefeated, and he has been knocking on JT's door. The 2025 season was a wake-up call for everyone who refused to see the signs. JT hit .257 with 12 home runs. On the surface, that looks serviceable for a catcher. But when you dig into the advanced metrics, the picture gets ugly. His OPS sat at .699. Let me repeat that: .699, that ranked dead last among qualified catchers in Major League Baseball. Offensively, the pop is vanishing. The bat speed isn't what it was 3 years ago. When you are looking to contend for a World Series, can you afford to have your starting catcher providing the worst offensive production in the league at his position? Defense, the arm versus the frame. Defensively, it is a mixed bag, which makes the decision even harder. The one tool that hasn't cracked is his arm. Realmuto is still gunning runners down. The pop time is still elite. He strikes fear into base stealers. However, the modern game values pitch framing, the ability to steal strikes for your pitcher, and in this area, Realmuto has regressed significantly. He is leaving strikes on the table. We have seen this trajectory before with legendary catchers. Look at Ivan Pudge Rodriguez or even Yadier Molina at the very end. The mind is sharp, the arm is strong, but the knees and the bat speed betray them. The Phillies front office knows this. They are analyzing the trend lines, not the name on the back of the jersey. Paying for past performance is how championship windows slam shut. Paying for future production is how dynasties are built. Conclusion and call to action. So here is the bottom line, everyone. It would be incredibly strange, borderline surreal, to see JT Realmuto wearing anything other than red pinstripes in 2026. He has been the heartbeat of this team through the rebuilding years and the glory runs. But the combination of his declining OPS and the organization's aggressive pursuit of Bo Bichette tells us that a goodbye is almost inevitable. The question isn't if things will change, but how painful the change will be. Now, I'm turning the GM role over to you. I want you to sound off in the comments below. Be honest. If JT signs with the Padres, do you wish him well? Or is it championship or bust, regardless of who leaves? And are you okay with letting a legend walk to get younger with Bichette? Let's get a debate going. Make sure you smash that like button if you appreciate the honest analysis, and subscribe so you don't miss the breaking news when the ink finally dries on these contracts. I'll catch you guys in the next one.